Is it possible to do 1 million damage in a single hit in Minecraft Dungeons? Let's find out. My name is WinterTruth100. Thank you for watching my video. Leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let's skip all the shilling and let's actually see if we can't do 1 million damage. I think there's a couple angles of attack to figure out if we can do this or not. The first is, of course, finding the best weapon with the highest damage. Alternatively, if we can find a really good bow, my goal is to do a single hit. The heart bow shoots 5 ranged attacks, therefore I will not be adding all 5 together to see if we can hit it. I feel like that'd be just a little bit of cheating. Having said that, I think our best bet might be to use an actual melee weapon, and the most powerful one I currently have is the Heart Stealer, which can hit up to 3,500 points of damage. Of course, I did not get very good rolls for enchants, so we're going to be looking for one with better enchants. And ideally, we're going to want to find some armor that comes with a little bit, if not a lot, of weapon damage boosting abilities. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think there's only one way that this could work, and we're going to have to test it. So we're going to go to the Creeper Woods on Apocalypse difficulty on the hardest setting, and we're going to work out a few points of damage and see what our maximum hit currently is without switching any armor or any weapons. We're going to throw on this Gong of Weakness because I've looked through all the artifacts and I believe this is the only one that's going to help us maximize damage within a single hit. The highest damage output I found was from a critical hit, 19,000 damage within a single hit. Now, the real test is to take it all the way down to default and replay the Creeper Woods on the easiest difficulty. If we cannot get a higher critical hit this time, then it probably isn't possible. As you can see, we do roughly the same amount of damage despite difficulty of the mobs. So we're going to have to get a little creative here. First thing I'm going to do is spend all of my emeralds and hope we get lucky. We did get pretty lucky. We did pull 5 unique items, but the things we're really looking for is probably mystery armor, because it can have random rules associated with it, which means we can get things such as plus 30% melee damage, in addition to plus 20% weapon damage boost aura. If we can combine those two, we can really greatly increase our damage output. The Splendid Robe was a pretty good pull. The artifact damage doesn't really mean much to us, neither does the cooldown, but the plus 30% melee damage in combination with Cowardice, which gives us plus 40% increased ranged and melee damage, means we're going to be hitting really hard, really quickly. And on top of that, we're going to use this to run the Desert Temple over and over again, looking for this mystery armor. Ideally, we'll get our 2 damage increasing passive abilities, and maybe we can get 1 or 2 of the Cowardice as well. Having spent a little time updating all of my gear, we have gotten up to 87,000 points of damage, though shortly after recording this clip, I did see 88,000. Having spent a few days actually working on this question of if you can hit 1 million damage in a single hit, things were starting to not quite line up or make enough sense for the 1 million damage, so I've done something a little cheaty. Using a third-party program, I have been playing with the enchantments and combination of weapon abilities and armor abilities, and I've come to the conclusion that currently, as the game stands right now, 1 million damage in a single attack is not possible. Let me explain. The first thing I did was give myself multiple instances of Cowardice on our armor, and it turns out that only 1 instance of Cowardice will apply. So having 3 instances makes no difference. So we're only using 1 instance here. But using the third-party program, we have increased it to level 10 instead of the maximum level 3, which explains why we have such a giant diamond purple thing here instead of the smaller one, which looks something sort of similar to this. And that's about it we've done to the armor, really. We've just given it a really big Cowardice, a surprise gift so we can get those strength potions a little faster to test the bigger crits, and cooldown just for the Gong of Weakness. Now here's where things get a little crazy. It does appear to be a Cowardice or a Smite or Radiance, whatever this is, but if you look, it actually is listed as double damage and has nothing listed. This does exactly what you would expect it to do. Regardless of level, it just doubles the damage of the weapon. We have a standard critical hit at level 3. Haven't changed this too much. It's actually level 10 even though it's listed as level 3. And that's just to guarantee crits a little bit faster for the purposes of testing. And the real big one is, of course, smiting. It's so large you can't see anything else, and it's level 100. All of these things together on Heartstealer does make it cost, however, 5,121 enchanting points. You can see the issue with this. But if we hop into the game and we do just a little bit of combat, you'll notice we're doing pretty standard damage to anything that's not undead, because of course that's how smiting works. I chose smiting because smiting gives us a 40% buff to the undead, but really, you can get some ridiculous damage dealt out with these guys, especially when paired with strength potions and the Gong of Weakness. And right there we just saw we can in fact crack 1 million damage. It is technically, theoretically possible, though not so possible within the limits of the game as is. I know this isn't quite the answer we're looking for, and it's a little disappointing that it's not possible within the game as it stands, but it is interesting that the game is set up in such a way that it could be possible in some weird, strange future of the game. We will, of course, need weapons with better enchants that don't cost 5,000 enchantment points, but if we can ever get there, it sure would be fun to take down those really tough mobs in a single hit. My name is Wintertooth100. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and if you're wondering, in the description down below I will leave information to the cheating program that I'm using so you can play with it for yourself. Try not to roast me too hard in the comment section down below. This video is basically for educational purposes. We just want to test the limits of the game, see what is and is not possible, and that's the whole point of making today's video. So again, please, just be civil in the comments, please. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.